We opened Discovery College back in 2007. So we were looking for furniture suppliers at that time, and we looked at a number of different schools in Hong Kong, recent schools that had had to provide school furniture, and the feedback we got was many of them had gone to local companies and they were not happy with the product. Before we even opened the school, we got a series of furniture from a number of different manufacturers, including Furnware, and we put it into a local primary school that was going to be closing and becoming Discovery College, and we got the students to critique the chairs. So they had them for a month and they used them daily, and Furnware were great. They brought in chairs and tables. And at the end of that time, the student feedback was unanimous in terms of the Furnware product. When we first set the school up, it was relatively traditional in the way we set it up. In Hong Kong at that time, you had to create individual classrooms. You weren't allowed to open learning areas, and so that sort of constrained a little bit about what we could do. We had relatively small classrooms that we had to put together. So we ordered, pretty much group tables and desks to manage the number of students we had, and chairs to go with them, and then we mixed that with peripherals, with whiteboards, trolleys, teaching stations, and so on and so forth. Over the time, and once the school had opened, we were able to be more flexible with our spaces, which meant that we were able to take some walls out to open up some learning areas. And one of the nice things about the design of the school is, even though the classrooms were individual, they all opened onto large learning commons or learning areas. And so we were able to also be quite flexible how we set those up. And so over time, what you'll do now, if you walk into classrooms, you will see stand-up work tables, small group seating areas, a range of different seats and work areas to suit what the kids are doing at the different times, and what their learning needs are at that particular moment, and students who have a lot more choice in how and where they work in the classrooms. And again, I think one of the great benefits of Furnware that we've seen is that if we take the curriculum and we discuss and decide on how students learn, then we find the furniture that supports it. But what we've discovered as we really started to look more closely at how we set up the learning environments was that we could provide a whole raft of different furniture that really suited the needs of our students and our teachers. And that wasn't just in primary, but also in secondary. So some of our earliest adopters were our secondary teachers who wanted the stand-up whiteboard tables, for example, that wanted more couch-type seating in their class, that wanted corners where secondary students would go and conference together, or outside into shared areas. Look, our customer journey has been fantastic. It's really funny because you work with companies that just provide products, and when things go wrong, you're often pretty much on your own, or you really battle for service. We've never ever felt like that with Furnware. The fact that we have you as our rep, so a constant face for 10 years, and the same with the people back at head office. Whenever there's something that needs to be fixed, it just gets fixed straight away. You've provided us with spare parts so we can do that work ourselves. You've given us training on how to do it. Whenever we have orders, even if they're small orders, you work to try and fit them into existing container loads so we don't pay extra shipping for things like that. And whenever we have questions, you come along and you support. But the other thing that Furnware does, which I don't think I've ever seen a company do, is your own research and development around education, around educational learning needs. You use case studies, you talk to teachers, you find out what they want, you talk to students. You're constantly innovating and evolving, not based on what you think we need, but based on what we tell you we really want. And that's, I think, a really unique feature of Furnware. The fact that we've had 2 students that have come to you with suggestions and ideas around bag storage and around meeting the needs of students who are very kinesthetic, and you've taken both of those things on board and showcased them, really goes to show that you are constantly looking for what the next product or the next innovations are going to be.